Cha-ching, and we are live. This is the Real Money Coach Show here on Facebook, LinkedIn, YouTube. You have joined us at the right time. You are at the right time in the right place. We have a phenomenal show for you tonight. Now, you know how we do. You know how we do on the Real Money Coach Show. Put in the chat box where you are watching from. What city, what location. Y'all come on in. Let's have a great time this evening. We're going to unpack this major topic of networking. Listen, I thought I knew what networking was. I didn't have a clue. But you know what? We're going to learn something about networking tonight because we have the queen of networking going to be with us. And so we're going to save all our announcements and all those types of things for at the tail end of the show. But I want you to be thinking about this. I want you to be thinking about what if you are watching this evening and you came to the masterclass, the iPad Your Money, my book masterclass. I want you to be prepared to share in the chat what you thought of it, what it was like for you for the first installment of 7 of the masterclass, Increase, Protect, and Dominate Your Money. Now, listen, without any further ado, we're going to bring on the co-host. Y'all already know who she. Now, y'all ain't nobody put in the chat yet where y'all are watching from. What y'all doing tonight? Y'all, what's wrong with your fingers? You don't have your keyboard tonight. I know I got my regulars in there somewhere. They're going to put on there where they're watching from. I know they will in just a moment or two. I am sure of it. So let's bring on Michelle Mitchell Consulting. Michelle, how are you doing?
I'm good. How are you, Tony?
I'm doing well. Listen, Michelle, it's cold in Charlotte. So tell
what?
Me, it's cold. Ruth Bell is in the house. Look at that. Ruth Bell don't miss.
Ruth Bell, is it cold? I don't believe it.
Listen, Michelle, it's been down in the 40s, girl.
No way. What is going on?
Yeah. Listen, and we got Dr. Bonita Harris is with us as well. So yeah, it's been a little chilly.
It's say 65.
I even said to Lisa, it's cold, right? Because Lisa always talking about cold because her blood and got thin. Kimberly, thank you for being here. And so, but yeah, it's been a little chilly. I guess maybe, just a cold front coming through. Listen, we got Sanchez, right? Maya Sanchez from Virginia's in the house. I love it. I love it having all these people that come and be a part of it. Alice Martin is here tonight. So Alice is here and another faithful viewer of the Real Money Coach Show. And many of you, you catch it. I don't know if you guys were on for the radio show this past Tuesday. I'm talking about Saturday morning at 7:30 a.m. Eastern time. And I don't know, there may be a time change coming that y'all might like a little better, but it might be coming. I don't know yet. We'll find out. So, Michelle,
yes,
we're going to get right into it because our guest has an appointment with Bible study. And, we don't get in the way of nobody's Bible study, right? We ain't trying to do that. So we're going to go ahead and bring her on. But I want to tell you a little bit about her first. And here's the thing. And she's going to talk about something. I know she's going to talk about it because she's been talking about it. But let me tell you something about Toni Harris Taylor. Now, I've been going to PNC for a few years now, right? So I don't know. I started going, it may be 5 years or so when they were in Baltimore, and then a couple virtual things and that type of thing. But I do know of Toni. And so now here's the thing. When I went this year, I had to exit early because, we had the wedding and all that kind of stuff. But Toni was awarded the Network of the Year, right? The Networker of the Year by Dr. George Fraser at his conference. And then he also awarded her an entrepreneurship award. And so she's pretty powerful. I had heard of her, really got a chance to get to know her over the last couple of weeks. But let me she's come out. Harvey Jones is here from Alabama. She has a book. It was just released a matter of weeks ago, maybe a week or so ago. And it's Viral Networking for Drastic Results, right? Strategies to get known, get connected, and what, Michelle? get paid, right?
That's right.
That's what we're talking about, getting paid,
Yeah,
right?
get paid.
So let me tell you a little bit about Toni Harrison Taylor. She's a marketing sales coach, international speaker. She's known as the networking queen and the coach that connects. Drastic Results Marketing and Sales Coaching helps entrepreneurs get to know, get known, get connected, and get paid. She teaches how to of leveraging branding, networking, and speaking to attract clients magnetically to grow to six figures and beyond. She also has a video cast where she interviews successful entrepreneurs to touch, move, and inspire the audience to stay in the game. So that's who we got on the show tonight.
All
So
right.
without any further ado, we're going to have Dante bring Miss Toni Harris Taylor to the stage. Hey.
Well,
How you doing?
Well, it looks like I'm still coming on. Can y'all see me okay?
We see you great.
Awesome. I am wonderful. So excited to be here. Toni has been, we just really connected about a month ago. And I can just tell we're going to be doing some big things together, instant connection. So thank you so much, Toni. And it's nice to meet you, Michelle.
Well, listen, it's that Toni thing, right?
Yeah.
Now here's the thing too, Toni. Michelle's husband is named Toni.
No way.
We bring him on. We got three of us, right? And then we both have sons named Toni.
Yes.
Wow.
And so when we all get together, it's like you say Toni, you got 4 people jumping up, right?
Right.
If it's something good, if it's something that you need done, it's like Toni. Oh, I thought you was talking to him, right?
Oh, that's wonderful.
Yeah, we've been lifelong friends for a long time.
Yes.
So Toni, do this. Tell our audience a little bit about you and in what you do, and then we'll start unpacking some of these concepts that you'd like to share tonight about networking.
Awesome. Toni Harris Taylor from Houston, Texas. I help entrepreneurs get known, get connected, and get paid to create drastic results in their business. And then I'm also a franchise owner. It's a networking franchise. Who knew there were franchises for networking? When I thought about franchises, there was chicken, it was burgers, and storefronts. I didn't know there were part-time home-based franchises. And I'm a multi-unit award-winning franchisee. And, I found my passion when it comes to networking and being a cop. Do you know what cop is?
No, you're going to have to tell me that.
Yeah, it is not the one on the street. It is a connector of people. So I get my greatest joy connecting people and watching them play together. In fact, with you, I've connected you to 2 people already. More to come. But I just love, my goal is to connect 50 entrepreneurs a month, at least. And so that's 600 a year, if you can do the math. And so I'm loving every minute of being able to help entrepreneurs win through networking.
Awesome. That's so awesome, because I think people who connect people, in many ways I think it's a gift, but I understand that it's also a skill that can be practiced in. And, just through 1 or 2 connections, sometimes, you meet a whole lot of people. I think I read one time that, they say we're six degrees away from knowing everyone. But in the Black professional community, it might be 2 or 3, so I think that's pretty awesome. And, I was looking at tell us the name of the franchise so everyone knows that.
It is Network in Action. And then mine is Global Partners. So there are over 80 franchisees, just like me, around the country who are growing groups of entrepreneurs. And for those of you familiar with networking and entrepreneurs, the grandfather of it all is BNI. And I like to say we're we are in the middle of BNI and Vistage. So Network in Action, NIA for short.
Got it. Got it. And I know I looked and there's no franchises in Charlotte, by the way. So we got to get a group going. We got to get a group going here in Charlotte. You know, this size community, and I'm sure that there's B&I groups out there, and you know, people are familiar with that concept. And then, you know, when I think about the first time, it was like the old Rotary Club, right? You go to Rotary Club and exchange cards and all that kind of stuff. But it was pretty much a closed group. I mean, you had the same people each week. There wasn't a lot of new people coming in. And so, so tell me a little bit about the book.
Sure.
And like I mentioned on the radio series, I got the book and I read the foreword, and then I went straight to page 183, and I started reading there, and it was just great information. So tell us a little bit about the book.
Okay, so first of all, the foreword was written by Dr. George C. Frazier. Uncle George, I fondly like to call him. Uncle George is just, he changed my life when I went to my very first FrazierNet conference in 2011. The book, though, was born at my viral networking conference last year. So the book is 18 plus me, 19 authors who have shared their stories of how networking has changed the game for their business. And so these are all my clients. They're either network in action or coaching clients or both. And they not all of them have believed in networking. Not all of them like networking. In fact, a lot of introverts are telling their story, and they're talking about the power of networking and how showing up changed their life. So my saying is show up, be up, follow up to blow up. Let me say that again. It's show up, be up, follow up to blow up. And so they're sharing their show up strategies, their be up strategies, definitely follow up strategies, because that's the big missing for everybody. And it's awesome. I read the book from cover to cover recently, and I was just like, these are some good stories. One of the ladies, Sheila, has a disease, birth defect called Cruzon's syndrome. And Cruzon syndrome, if you Google it, the pictures, you know, she's had 14 or 15 surgeries, but she's a video marketing coach. And how did she grow that business? Through networking. She's someone who should not be in front of the camera by all beautiful now because of all the surgeries, but you know, she should be in her head about it. But she had such an inspiring story of how video and networking changed the game for her. So it's been a labor of love, but I'm very proud because many people entered my network and they wanted to be an author. They never thought it would come through their community, their network in action community.
Well, that's pretty awesome. I want to ask a couple questions because I want to take advantage of the next 15 minutes that we have you. What is the number one mistake that people make when networking?
There's a lot of mistakes, but the number one mistake I believe that people make when networking, how is that for a English class answer, is leaving with a purse or a pocket full of business cards, not setting appointments on the spot. I am so tired of people taking cards and nothing happens. It's ridiculous. You might as well not show up if you're not going to, nobody's going to buy from you when they meet you. They're not going to send you a referral when they meet you, unless they're me. And so you've got to date, if you will, court each other, if you will, because people will buy from you and refer you when they know you, they like you, and they're
trust you. Yep.
So my advice and what I teach at my clients and at my conference is how to ask for a date. Don't be taking people's business cards and then nothing happens. Leave events with dates on the calendar every time, whether it's a virtual or in-person event. I leave with 3 to 5 appointments. And if I travel and go to a conference and I pay my money, it's 10 to 15 appointments. And those relationships have continued to give to me year after. Look at me and Dr. Frazier. I went to Atlanta to his first conference. There's a story behind how he and I are great friends now, and I'm, his little niece. So I say little niece. But it started with me showing up to his conference.
Well, you got to be in the room. You got to be in the room, right?
You got to be in the room.
Got to be in the room. And we often, George talks about it too. Is like, because George, as popular as he is, and if you ever travel with George, you know that, right? And so, and he gives out his card, he gives out his phone number, and he said, someone asked him, aren't you afraid that you're going to get inundated with all these calls? He said, no, because 99% of the people never follow up. They never make a phone call. They never do it. They get your card, and that's all that's the end of the story.
Yep.
And it's sad. It really is sad. And so I'm on a mission. People ask me all the time, what's my legacy? What's my mission? My mission is to teach as many entrepreneurs as I can how to be drastic to build relationships. Listen, y'all. Everybody's mad. Everybody is mad at the good old boys. You're mad at the good old boys, right? Because they share business between each other. But guess what? The good old boys, they hunt, they fish, they golf, they have family barbecues before the deals come. So it's a no-brainer who the deal is going to be shared with. And y'all mad? Come on, man. Create your own good old boy network.
Yes.
And don't be mad. Be like the good old boys. But you got to build those relationships up front, because the deal may not come for a year. But by that time, you've nurtured this relationship so that people will want to work together.
And I have this story I've told it a few times, and you may know Bill Picard. You may have met him, at the PNC. But my first year going to PNC, I'm sitting there. We had the table and the booth and all that, and so I'm out there the night before putting all the stuff out so that it looks all real nice when people come by and fill their bag up with all the brochures that they end up, never looking at again.
Thrown away, right?
So he comes walking through, and he's got like an old T-shirt on and some jeans. I mean, and I actually thought this guy was homeless. I actually thought he was a homeless guy wandering through the convention center, and he happened to have a hat on that said Detroit. So I said, I'm going to engage him. And we engaged in a conversation, had a great conversation. We laughed about Detroit and da-da-da-da-da. Said, I'm from Detroit. Boom. The next day, he's the millionaire on stage that George is interviewing. And we just kind of struck up a relationship. He went to Western, the same college that Michelle and I went to. I think they even have a dorm named after him now. And I just just started this relationship with him. And, I'd call him every once in a while and those type of things. And then one day I was at Morehouse in financial aid office, right, with my son. And he calls me, and I was telling him where I was at. And he says, well, tell them that if they don't take care of you, Bill Picard is going to call Mr. Euclid. And I did that. And all of a sudden, they took us into the conference room. They set us up. We got us something to drink. Do you want some lunch? And all this. And it was really that network. But the thing about it is the relationship had been established before that moment.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was pretty cool. I always talk about that because it taught me a lot. In that moment, you never know who you may be talking to. You never know who they might be connected with. And this guy's given over $1 million to Morehouse, and so, it's very, very kind of interesting. Now, one of the things that you
Wait,
mentioned.
wait. Michelle had a question, and I'm really curious.
I did have a question because I am naturally an introvert. So, going to networking events are overwhelming to me. But if I can find one person to talk to and I can walk away with, well, now I know to get them on my calendar, then the event has been successful for me.
Absolutely.
So what tips do you have for people like me? Because I'm great. I can present all day long, but put me in a big room with a whole bunch of people, I don't know what to do.
So this is what I have lots of introverts, and they say, but I'm an introvert. And I'm like, don't make the extroverts make all the money. Let's
No. I'm gonna make my money now.
Right.
But,
And
yes.
my introverts are great one-on-one. So here's the tip that I have for introverts. Number one, take your extrovert friend with you. Number one. Number two, when y'all are on your way, who do you want to meet? Who do you want to meet? And look through the room for the person your person wants to meet, not for you. See, people think that networking is about you. It's not. Your networking is for your network. Yes. Because if everybody is networking for their network, then you will receive. And it'll be a better reception because someone's going to introduce you versus you saying, buy me.
Right.
So what I do for my network here in Houston, especially my NIA and my coaching clients, we go to events together. And it's almost like a basketball team. Hands in. Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to meet? Who do you want to meet? And then we break and everybody goes and networks for other people.
Yes.
And from that, I've seen my clients make thousands of dollars because I refuse to let them sit together. I say, you all break up, go meet some people and bring them back to your fellow networking. So that's what we do. And then when you have some courage in that, Michelle, because you're with a group of people who've got your back. So just don't do it alone till you master it.
Yeah.
Well, one of the things from attending your NIA meeting too, that I think is important, even if we take that person with us, like if Michelle and I go to an event together,
we would be so good. That's all I'm gonna say.
Yeah. But I need to know who her ideal client is. She needs to know who my ideal client is. That's so that when I find that person, I can bring them to her and say, here's Michelle.
Yeah. And you know what Michelle's going to do? She's not going to say, here, take my card. She's going to say, hey, Toni said we should connect. Can I get you on my calendar right now?
Yes.
Yeah.
I literally open the calendar and book it right. You can move it, but I'm leaving with appointments. No more, you guys. Everybody watching. Stop.
I love it.
Yes.
I love that.
You know, I even have on my phone now, I have on my home screen, I have my QR code that boom, scan this and let's put it on the calendar. That goes straight to my calendar.
Yeah, I love that. I haven't done that, so I will be doing that.
I'm gonna do that. Because I have a speaking engagement on Saturdays. So
that's it.
It works great.
Yeah.
It works great. And then here's another tip. So I bought a domain, meetwithtoniharristaylor.com. Yes, it's long, and I point the domain to my calendar. So it's an easy remembering, it's an easy to remember calendar link versus Calendly / Did y'all know Calendly was the owner was Black?
Yes, I knew that.
I did not know that with you, Toni.
Yeah, Calendly. Another one, Giveify. I mean, that a lot of churches use. It's Black owned as well. But I do the same thing. I have URLs.
Toni got a lot of URLs.
So I have Toni Jackson appointment, right? So I can tell people go to Toni Jackson appointment, and that just takes them right to my calendar, to the Calendly. And then I have some, because of insurance, I have policy review appointment, so if I'm talking to a customer and they want to go over their policy, just go go to policyreview.com and then just get on my calendar. And so I use a lot of those, Tony Jackson Zoom, you have your Zoom as well, so that those links, those URLs are easy to remember. And I don't even have to remember. I could just, spurt them right out. So,
yeah.
So tell us a little bit more about the conference that's coming up.
The viralnetworkingconference.com. It's scrolling across the screen. It is November 2nd through 4th. And it's for entrepreneurs who are ready to get themselves out there, get known, get connected so they can get paid. At the conference, you'll hear from myself and several speakers around marketing strategies to help you to grow your business. You'll learn video marketing, social media, you'll learn branding, you'll learn content writing, technology to help you go viral. Most importantly, everybody, whether you're online or in person, everybody leaves with appointments on their calendar. Last year, the lady who won the contest got 40 appointments. She also happened to be a sponsor and has made over $40,000 from my community. So, yes, so 40 appointments. She's a beast. So come. If you want to expand, here's the other thing. I was coaching someone today. I said, if you want to grow national, you got to go national. You can't go to local meetings hoping to be national. You got to go to national events and then you're going to book people on your calendar and you're going to get them on Zoom and you're going to follow them on social media. So many people, I love social media, but so many people feel like they can just post and they will come. That doesn't work, right? So social media networking is planting a seed. Social media is watering the seed you planted when they met you. And passing referrals is fertilizer for your network.
Yeah, because people will remember when you refer those people over. And I think George says and click, be the first to give. Be the first to give. And folks, you have right there scrolling on the screen, you have two things. One, you have the link to her calendar. And so you shouldn't leave this live broadcast tonight, or if you're watching the recording, without booking an appointment with Toni Harris Taylor.
Let me tell you something about that, Toni. I told you this when we had our one-to-one. I just told you I'm a connector of people. I know a lot of people. I pride myself on connecting people. Do you know how many people do not get on my calendar? I'm the center of influence. That's the other tip I have for you guys. When you go to events, get on the calendar of the person putting on the event. They know everybody.
Everybody there.
Get on the calendar of speakers. They know a lot of people. So frustrating. So I expect all these people that make comments to get on my calendar. I'm inviting you to. I'm not going to try to sell you someone. Maybe I will, but it will be about helping you to grow. And you need to connect with the connectors.
Yep, absolutely. And I know you have to go, but I want you to do this because I think it's so important, because we live in this social media world where people are talking about likes and all these types of things, but you have a definition of being viral that is, I think, the correct one now that I know it, right? So can you tell us a little bit about what does it mean to be viral?
Yeah, what does it mean to be viral? It is not likes, it's not shares, and it's not views. And you, sir, helped me to solidify this because I had been saying it, but you gave me the real world example without knowing it. So going viral is having people say your name in a positive way when you're not in the room. And so I spoke on Greater Wealth Alliance and
Generational Wealth Alliance. Yep.
Generation Wealth Alliance. And Tony was there, and he said, I can't wait to hear from tonight's speaker because this is my second time hearing her name today. This morning, I was in a meeting with billionaire Michael Roberts, and her name came up. That, ladies and gentlemen, is going viral.
Yes.
And here's the other thing, Michelle. If I'm gonna give myself a little kudos here, right? Of that meeting, Toni, of that meeting, you were there, and there's probably 40 people that attended that meeting. How many people scheduled an appointment with you?
You won. I was so mad. I'm so mad. I'm especially mad because.
Did you check your calendar just now?
You know what, Michelle, I did. I see.
I take action. When I hear something, I move.
Well, you know.
Hey, we quick learners, baby, Michelle. We quick learners.
Right. George Fraser gave me, so this is George Fraser's group. I happen to be substitute speaking because he was on vacation. This is George Fraser's group. Mm-hmm. He had just given me the Power Networker of the Year award.
Right.
Why wouldn't people get on my calendar?
Absolutely. And that was my thing too, was because George is giving you that award. He's a networker, right? He considers himself a networker. I consider him a networker. And I'm like, if he gave her Networker of the Year award, then that ought to be someone that I need to talk to, right? Yes. And so, and I never told you who mentioned your name that morning. It was Michelle Walker Davis.
Michelle Walker Davis. She told me actually. She's going to be at the conference. She's coming to my conference.
Yeah, so that was pretty awesome. So
awesome.
Well, I certainly appreciate you taking time out to come by and share with us some networking tips. If people want to get the book, it is available on Amazon. And Absolutely. You didn't say it, but I will say it for you. It was a #1 bestseller in a couple categories. I think networking, and there was another one too.
Marketing and sales.
Marketing.
So it was not in tiddlywinks.
So #1 bestseller, and great stories in it. And, you know, even just you coming on GWA and, you know, I'm making that appointment. You've connected me with a couple people already. And, you know, and you're here. And so I think it's pretty awesome. I love NIA. I think that's a great concept. So any last words you'd like to leave with our audience before you take off for Bible study?
I would. You know, I'm reading Think and Grow Rich right now. And it said that successful people make quick, drastic decisions. Okay, it didn't say drastic. I threw that in there. Successful people make decisions. So make the decision to show up at the Viral Networking Conference, whether you come virtually or in person. Your plane will bring you to Houston. In person is so much better because it's the energy of the room. But if you can't make it in person, at least show up online. You too, online, will leave with appointments. Make a decision and you will grow rich.
Wow.
There it is. There it is.
Yeah.
And I think what Michael Roberts says, you got to be an actioneer. You got to take action.
You got to take action.
Has no season. Action has no season. Now is the season. Now is the time. And I love King. He said it's the urgency of now. And for me, I know I've used to go to and come back with all these business cards. And I had an ashtray full of business cards. But for me, it's about putting people and getting them on my calendar. And not only that, once they're on my calendar, they make their way into my database. Right. And so they get emails about wonderful guests that we have on our show, like Toni Harris Taylor. And so we thank you very much for being here. Folks,
Thanks
follow
for having me.
You'll have a great conversation. When I booked the appointment with her, I didn't know what to expect, but we just had a great conversation about what she does, what I do, We got some similar backgrounds in terms of financial services, life insurance, share some great stories. And now we're part of each other's network.
I want to say one last thing. I'm inviting the right person to be a leader under my franchise, partner with me to help as many entrepreneurs to grow around the country. Charlotte in particular. But if you are anywhere in the country and you're watching this and you feel me and you understand and you're already a connector of people thinking, I wish I could make money doing this, then I want to hear from you, because it is money. It's not volunteer, and everybody will win.
We love win-win. Stephen Covey says it's a win-win-win.
Yes.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you, Toni.
I appreciate it.
Thank
And we will
you.
be talking soon. I know Michelle is on your calendar. So
I'm on the calendar.
Awesome.
We
Thank
will
you so
see you
much.
on Monday, Michelle. Thank you.
All right.
Bye,
All
All
y'all.
right, take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.
So, Michelle, that was like quick, boom, boom, firecrack,
It was.
right?
Yeah. It don't take a
So
long
what you
time.
think? No,
I loved it.
don't.
I loved it, and I guess I could say I'm a connector as well, because I hear people's problems all the time, and I know what other people do. So I'm like, hey, you need to talk to this person, and I'll just refer them out, especially my clients, if they need something that I don't specialize in or whatever, I'm always referring people out and connecting people. Like, I had a meeting yesterday, and I had already sent 2 people to this person. So, I mean, it's because when I see a need that somebody else can meet, then it's a good connection,
Yeah, and I think I love her goal of connecting 50 business
50.
owners a
Yeah.
month. 600 a year. Now,
Yeah.
someone just said, "Hello, family. It's been a while. Go Blue." The name doesn't appear on my chat, but my guess is that Chad Lawson from Columbus, Ohio, that's coming in. I'm sure that's who that is, with the Go Blue there for sure. Just recently had a birthday as well. And so I love that. And even we try to connect people here. Like, if we have speakers come on, and if you see that and you want to connect with them, we always try to make sure that we get their contact information out there. Certainly you can always, email us and those type of things, because it's really, what do they say? Teamwork makes the dream work, right?
It does.
And so
it really does.
I think,
but you also have to be an action taker, because once you leave this space tonight, you will forget. Unless you made a note in your calendar to do it later. When you leave here tonight, you will forget. So why not do it now? It's the most efficient thing to do, in my opinion.
Honestly, even the notes for me, because my day can get pretty full, right? I mean, it can get pretty full. It's back to back. You got phone calls, you got, appointments. I mean, it can get pretty full, and then, you might have something with the family that, it gets pretty full, right?
It does.
And so for me, just getting on the calendar is the key. And, that's the best way to have a conversation with me. That's the best way for us to do it, is just to get on the calendar. Yes. And I love the fact that we have these calendar links that we can use. Yes. And Calendly, you guys, if you are not familiar with it, it's absolutely, they have a free version.
Free. There's a free version.
And I think even the version I have is only, it's like $15 a month, and I got, several different calendars, but you can have one calendar active at a time, and it's absolutely free. And you can send people there and put people on your calendar, and it synchronizes and all that great stuff. So,
and if you need more than one link, it's $144 a year.
Yeah.
A year.
Yeah. So
it's a no-brainer.
And it's well worth it, for sure.
I've been using it for many years.
Yeah. And then they're integrating even more and more stuff as time goes.
It is.
So
Yeah.
networking, networking. And
Yeah.
here's the thing about it. Here's the thing about it. I can tell you a network that happened a long time ago, right? So you had these two
Yeah.
18-year-olds on campus, right, in class together, right?
Yep.
And we networked, and
We
then that
did.
network led to you and Lisa being roommates,
Yep. It
and
did.
you've been lifelong friends because
Lifelong.
and I think the first event that we all went together was probably a networking event
It
on
probably
campus
was
with
on campus.
America. And so here it is. And
Yeah.
so boom, there it is.
So at
So,
every level of life, so I want the viewers to understand that, networking is not just for business people. It is not
thank you.
just for
Thank
business
you for
people.
mentioning that.
It is for all people. When you go to church, you are networking. You're
Yeah.
networking at church. So networking is for all people, not just business people. And you can take some of these concepts and apply them to your life.
Yeah.
Because when you hear something or you meet someone and you take action right then and like get it on the calendar, because you honor your commitments, you will honor what's on the calendar.
Oh yeah.
So it's like this is life networking.
Well, and they say that your net worth is your network,
Yes.
right? And
Hmm.
so the more people we know and it's always that one thing we talked, they always say it's not what you know, it is what.
It's who you know.
And I've always taken that to the next level. It's not who you know, but who knows you.
Who, right. True.
Because I can say I know President Obama, but if he don't know me,
Right.
that don't do me any good in my network,
How
right?
much does that
So
mean?
it's who you know and who knows you. And
Hmm.
then the other thing I heard church say this one time, and it's what they know about you.
About you. Yes.
So
Yes.
that makes a big difference. Your reputation. I mean, what do
Yes.
they know about you? And
Mhm.
and so that's why a lot of times, hopefully, we're pretty transparent on here talking about our families and all that type of thing. It's just so that you
Mhm.
know who we are. You just know who we
Yes.
are. And hey, there's Harvey Jones. He says, I connected with the Real Money Coach at PNC, and the connection has been beneficial for my entire family and destiny. And it's like, Harvey's like family now, right?
Yeah.
And that was 2 years ago.
Hmm.
And so, I'm just waiting, to come to Alabama for the family barbecue, or whatever. But it becomes family, and so often those relationships mean so
Hmm.
much,
They do.
as you develop them, and so and
But that
just
comes
like our
from
family.
spending time with people. Just like she said about the good old boy network. When you spend time with people and you develop those deeper connections, it is obvious that like the other person is going to refer somebody to you that then you can, make money in your business or help you improve your financial wealth, like
Yep.
because of the relationship that you have built with people.
And
Yeah.
that's what they say right here. It says that if you hang around five
Mhm.
um, millionaires, you'll be the
Mhm.
sixth. I'm
You'll
kind
be
of
the
banking
sixth.
on that one, right? I'm kind of banking on that
Right.
one. But they also say
Yeah.
if you hang around nine broke people, you'll be the 10th, right?
You'll be
So
the 10th. Exactly.
it's that old adage that
Hmm.
birds of a feather flock together.
Work together.
You
Yeah.
attract, and as we were talking about it, and you were talking about getting to know people, that's why they call golf the sport of business. Because when you think about it, think about when you play golf, right? And I know
It's
Toni loves golf,
4
right?
hours.
It's you spend 4 hours with that person,
Right.
right? And they get to know the good and bad and ugly. When you miss a shot, what comes out, what slips out, right? All of that stuff. But you
Yes.
spend 4 hours with a person,
Exactly.
and you develop I mean, there's a whole lot that you can talk about in 4 hours,
4 hours.
you know,
And you're
and
doing
so,
something
you know, that,
fun.
that it just
Yeah,
makes sense. You know,
it
you
does.
don't develop that same relationship with other sports because, I mean, you're riding in the cart, you're talking, you're
Mhm.
standing up, you're teeing off. And so it makes sense to me when you put
Yeah,
all that
it
together.
does.
So,
It
so
does.
listen, there's a couple things we want to just make everyone aware of. Of course, the Real Money Coach Show on Saturday mornings at 7:30 a.m. Eastern Time on Praise 100.9. Obviously, we're here every Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. And last night, Michelle, I did the first installment of the iPad Increase, Protect,
Yes.
and Dominate Your Money masterclass. And so it's going to be taking place at 7 p.m. on Mondays, 7 weeks. We're going to skip the 31st. And actually, we had about 40 people show up last night.
That's awesome.
And I thought we had a good time. I don't know if anybody here was part of that. If you got something you want to say about it, put it in the chat for me. But yeah, I enjoyed it, and we really taken a deep dive into the book. And a lot of people felt like we could have went longer, right? Because I'm saying hard stop at 8 o'clock. I don't want to go
Right.
any longer than an hour. But it was great input. People talking about, last night our topics were out of chapter 1, which is debt elimination,
Mhm.
budgeting, and then we talked about time value of money, rule of 72, my theory about averages don't really work, and those type of things. Next week we'll get into the stock market, which
Oh,
had a good day today, but we'll get into chapter 2, which is the risk and rewards of the stock market. You were going to say?
I was going to ask you about your opinion about what happened in the stock market last week and today as a result of the announcement in the UK. What do you think?
Well, you know what, Michelle? Actually, honestly, I really did not follow it all day. I did hear a little bit, a clip on Instagram from Boyce Watkins, I think it was, that talked about the market. I see that it did go up 2.8% today, which is a pretty good. NASDAQ is up 3% and S&P up 3%. But it's still overall down,
Right.
for year to date and all that type of stuff. So what was the UK announcement?
About cutting, getting rid of the tax cut for the wealthy or something,
Really?
which our markets reacted to,
Okay.
which is crazy. Yeah. So
Interesting. That's very
yeah.
good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because their interest rates are getting too high. So,
Mm,
the theory, like, so in 6 months from now, could that be us?
right.
If the feds keep raising the interest rate? What's too high? You know?
Well, and you got to think about it. They've raised it
Yeah.
2.25% this
Mhm.
year. This
Mhm.
year. And I talked about that if you're talking about $1,000 or $10,000, that
Mhm.
means that you'll pay $225 more in interest
Interest. Mhm.
for a year. Now, if you look at that and you say, okay, I have a $50,000 car, that means
Mhm.
you're paying over $1,100 more in interest over a 5-year period of time, because most people do, well, a lot of people are doing 6 years, right? So,
Right.
anywhere from 60 to 72 months. I
Mhm.
remember when we were coming up, I mean, it was like 24 months, 36 months,
I
right?
know. Yeah.
Yep. And then if you look at a home that may be $300,000,
Mhm.
and now you're talking about, over $11,000 in interest
In interest.
more,
More.
and that's for a year,
Mhm.
right?
A year.
So, and to the class, and I don't know if we could scroll this, but you just go to www.ipadevent.com, ipadevent.com, and it's not too late. We'll take people at any time into the class. We just had one class there, but it's ipadevent.com. iPadEvent.com. And you can just register there. It's free. And we're just going to have a great time just talking about different things. So iPadEvent.com. So so that was the big announcement in the UK that caused the rebound in the market.
The rebound in the market.
There's been a lot of talk about Elon Musk and Twitter. And the price of Twitter jumped up when he talked about buying it, and a lot of people bought it and kind of probably made a lot of money by selling it before he says something else. It's amazing how you have these influencers like Elon Musk and others that will say something and
the market
people just react to it. React to it. So that's pretty awesome. So the other thing that's coming up here at the end of the month is a Boyce Watkins conference, the All Black Conference, I think is what it's called. It's the All Black Conference, All Black Convention. And so that's going to be here in Charlotte at the Sheraton. I'm talking about a national event again. And so I am very honored to be one of the presenters on that Friday night. And so that's going to be fun. I think it's going to be a great conference. I've never been to one of his conferences before. Nice. I know it should be great. It should be great. It should be a great event. Let's see what else. Lastly, those of you who may be in Tennessee, I'll be in Murfreesboro doing a stewardship revival at a church there in Murfreesboro. It's going to be, a lot of it's going to be based on the book. So we went over today. They're going to work me that day. I mean, I'm going to do an opening Bible study in terms of God's handling, of money. And then there's going to be 2 breakout sessions, one on home ownership, one on finances. So we'll be talking about good debt, bad debt, how to eliminate debt. And then we'll have a second breakout session that will be talking about how to get equity out of your home. And at that time, I'll be doing budgeting, of course, talking about wants, needs, and budgeting. And then I will do the wrap up doing the iPad Your Money presentation. So it's going to be a full day.
Full packed day.
It's going to be a full packed day from 9 to 1.
Good for you.
In Murfreesboro, Tennessee.
We were just there, almost there for the wedding.
Oh, we were in Smyrna. We were right next door.
Yeah.
So, so back to Tennessee.
Back to Tennessee. Yeah.
Back to Tennessee. So, all right, y'all. I guess that's it for tonight. We had a great show. Next week, we're going to have a gentleman, Lance Jones, will be. He actually owns a security company in Greensboro, but he's really big into gold and silver and precious metals. He's also part of a group called the African Brain Trust. And so looking forward to sharing some information from him. And as always, y'all can always email us and put yourself on my calendar if you need to, right? So iPadAppointment.com. Michelle, it's been great.
It's been great.
Another great show.
Yeah.
We keep doing this.
I know.
Keep coming back.
I know.
All right, everybody. Y'all have a good evening. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see you next week.
All right.
On the Money Coach Show.
Have a good one.